Hello everyone, my name is Xinyang Tan. I'm from the Dyson School of Design Engineering, Imperial College London. I'm glad to be here attending ICRA 2020 and presenting our recent study regarding developing a soft pressure sensor skin for hand and wrist orthosis. Static orthosis have been commonly used in clinics to stabilize injured body segments like bone fractures or prevent musculoskeletal disorders like scoliosis. It can be applied on the hand, the foot, and the body and normally customized through casting the thermoplastic material on the patient. They need to wear the orthosis for a long time, for example, 4 to 6 weeks for hand injuries and maybe years for post-stroke patients or scoliosis. Low patient compliance and decreased effectiveness of orthosis have been commonly reported in hospitals due to the discomfort and the pressure source caused by excessive contact pressure in long-term wearing. Currently, discomfort can only be reported subjectively by patients. However, the sensation of discomfort or pain exacerbates with time. Patients may not feel the discomfort or pain until after they have left the hospital. Existing methods have been investigated to minimize contact pressure and improve comfort, including using softer materials or 3D printed orthosis. However, softer material may not be able to provide enough support, leading to decreased effectiveness of orthosis, and they are difficult to be adjusted, not like the conventional thermoplastic material. Thus, most of them have not been widely accepted by clinics. So we were thinking, what if there's a soft sensor skin under orthosis to report excessive contact pressure shortly after the customization and help hand therapists to adjust the device? In this paper, we propose a patient-involved approach to develop the sensor skin. In general, a FEM was conducted at the beginning to simulate contact pressure on the hand of a subject wearing a customized orthosis. The distribution of pressure spots was generated from the FEM result, and the soft sensor skin was fabricated based on the distribution, with sensor unit located at each simulated pressure spot. The sensor was tested on the subject, and the measurement was compared with the original simulation. Specifically, the first step is to generate the sensor pattern. The hand and the orthosis customized for the subject was 3D scanned with physical references attached to them. The purpose of the physical references is to make sure the joint angles of the scanned hand and are the same as wearing orthosis, and the hand and the orthosis models can be easily assembled in a CAD software. Then FEA was conducted twice with the fat and the skin material parameters assigned to the hand model respectively. As skin is more rigid than fat, an approximate range of contact pressure provided by the orthosis can be achieved. Afterwards, we use a very simple method to convert the 3D pressure distribution of the FEA result into a 2D flat sensor pattern. The 3D distribution was projected on a full-size 3D printed hand model using a projector, and all pressure spots were marked manually on the surface of the model, which was covered with masking tape. If we flatten the masking tape, we could get a rough 2D sensor pattern. Then we measured the length of the curved linkage which fits to the surface of the hand between any two pressure spots in the FEA software. The length was used to adjust the rough 2D pattern. Thus, a relatively more accurate 2D sensor pattern can be achieved. The sensor developed in this paper is a resistive pressure sensor. Each sensor unit has 7 layers with a conductive layer in the middle, which is made of carbon black TPU. The sensor resistance decreases when pressure is loaded as the conductive path of this layer is shortened. The fabrication process of the sensor skin involves 5 steps. At the first step, the sensor pattern was printed on a copper foil through laminating the copper foil with a heat transfer sheet. Then the conductive layer and the plating layer of the sensor was 3D printed. The electrode layer was made by corroding the copper foil in a 25% ammonium pacific solution. Afterwards, assemble and heat seal all layers together. Most material used to fabricate the sensor is TPU, so the sensor skin is very soft and thin with a bit elasticity. Due to time limit, it is difficult to explain the fabrication process in detail. Clearer demonstration can be seen in the paper. The sensor characterization was conducted. The figure on the left shows the pressure response of each sensor unit of the sensor skin. 2 sensor units, number 8 and 11, were found as outliers likely due to unclear fabrication errors. Though these two sensors look different, they did not influence the effectiveness of the sensor skin as sensor units were calibrated individually. At the same contact pressure, voltages from different sensors tend to be closer with increasing contact pressure. This result may be due to the unevenly distributed voids or gaps of the conductive elastomer generated during 3D printing, as shown in the microstructure of the conductive layer in the figure on the right. When the same pressure was applied, deformations of conductive layers were slightly different, as the Young's modules were different due to variance of porosity. However, when contact pressure increased, voids were squeezed and the microstructure of different conductive layers became similar, leading to smaller standard deviation. 10 out of 12 sensor units showed identical pressure response, indicating the reliability of the fabrication process. A structure like fish scale was designed around each sensor unit. It has three functional purposes. Firstly, it reinforces around each sensor unit, inhibiting stretching of the conductive layer. The clear TPU coating was heat-sealed through holes of the structure surrounding the conductive layer to prevent it from moving relatively to the electrode layer. So even the sensor skin is stretched, the deformation of the sensor unit is little. Secondly, when the applied force is withdrawn, the partly deformed elastic fish scale structure around the conductive layer facilitates the shape recovery of the deformation, quickening signal restoring to the baseline. The comparison of sensor signals during 1 minute relaxation is reported down here. It can be noted that the sensor unit with the fish scale structure has a faster response compared to a sensor sample without the fish scale structure during relaxation. As the TPU layer are very soft and thin, the third function of the structure is to prevent overstretching of and tearing of the softer sensor skin. There's a plating layer as well in the sensor, which is printed in polycarbonate. Its function is to prevent signal drift at no loading. Without the plating, an upward drift was found in all sensor samples. The plating pad printed with a polycarbonate material builds a relatively harder surface which supports the electrode layer and the conductive layer, providing an even contact between the two layers and also preventing slight horizontal deformation of the sensor unit, therefore reducing the drift. This video shows a sample of a 4-unit sensor skin worn on the hand. The 12 sensor unit skin was tested on the subject wearing customized orthoses. Contact pressure was detected in 8 out of 12 sensor units with a range from 0.012 MPa to 0.046 MPa. It was expected that no contact pressure was measured from the other 4 sensor units because of too little pressure, as the tissue at the 4 locations are very very soft, closer to fat. The 4 sensors at bony prominences all showed high magnitude. The highest measurement was at the same location of the highest contact pressure of the FEA results and within the range of simulations. Maximum values measured at the spot number 5 and 7 showed relatively high pressure, which may bring discomfort. However, since they do not locate at bony prominences, the 2 locations may be neglected by a therapist during customization of orthoses. To sum up, the sensor skin is very cheap. We use low cost and easy to get materials without very complicated fabrication process. We also proposed a patient-involved method of sensor development to generate sensor pattern which collects necessary data from key pressure spots. The method can be applied for other types of orthoses or prostheses to improve comfort. We are trying to integrate the soft sensor skin into the orthosis. The video on the right shows a heated and softened orthosis material with a sensor unit embedded inside in an attempt to measure pressure during fabrication for long-term monitoring. Thank you for watching.